Then, one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. It spread its wings, took flight, and burst into the sky. Oh, hi. I'm reading this book, What Do You Do with an Idea? By Kobe Yamada, illustrated by May Beeson. Do you have an idea that follows you around? One that deserves to come and change the world? But you stop because you don't know where to start, or horrified by the tax implications of setting up a business structure? What's the difference between a sole proprietorship, LLC, S Corp, C Corp? Is that something that you weren't taught in design school? You're not alone. In starting this channel, I went through the process of wanting to start something that I could immediately sell items on, and I wanted to make sure that I was setting up my business for success. I've run a consultancy before as a sole proprietor, and I know that maybe I wasn't taking advantage of some of the tax laws that could have been in my favor and could have added to my business. And so this time I took a different approach. Watched a lot of YouTube. I actually went to ChatGPT to ask, how do you start? What are the differences? So I'll link to some of the videos that I watched. I ended up with a certain business structure, and you can follow along my journey. So you don't have to watch quite as many hours of YouTube followed by talking to a financial planner and asking a lot of questions to get started. So how did I start this process? I had an idea, like all of you probably have different ideas of what I wanted to do. I really wanted to be able to create some children's illustrated books for my kids. My little one is just starting to read, and my older one reads to her every day. And so this would be an amazing time to create a children's story, and what a better way to have books that are about their mom and her life's journey through the tech industry, through working through consultancies, to how I grew up and why I am the way I am. I think I have a fun journey, so I'm hoping that other people think that it's also as fun. What are the differences between a sole proprietorship and an LLC? How do you get started? You want to get started by thinking about what it is you want to do. Are you going to create something tangible and sell it online? Do you need some way to collect sales tax? If you're like me, design school really didn't help when it comes to anything tax related or starting your own venture. Maybe school has changed in the last 20-ish years, but I've always felt this desire to understand more of the business skills behind becoming like the next design background founder or whatever you are interested in becoming. It's something that has come up in my career progression, and I've taken a lot of effort to train and understand a little bit more business acumen and to be that business strategic leader that I always wanted to be, or so that I could have a seat at the table, that I could give my opinions as the leader of my function and help people understand why it's so valuable to care about the user's experience and care about the human side of the equation. My experience as a consultant, having my own business and seeing how my parents operated their studio, it gave me a foundation to do this business. But I wasn't sure if it was really the right business structure for this new creator environment or this new side hustle AI-driven experiment that I wanted to do. So I wanted to do things right with the help of AI, especially ChatGPT, to get me started and get my business going. What is the significance of the business structure that you choose? One, I'll mention for sole proprietorship versus an LLC, the difference is your personal liability. So with an LLC, you are not personally tying your assets to your business. Your business has its assets, you have your assets, and they're separate. What does that mean is if your business tanks, then they won't come and take your house. And I think that's a really important thing. So with that, I mean, I pretty much eliminated sole proprietorship right away. I didn't want to tie those two things together. Diving in deep to the difference between an LLC, an S Corp, and a C Corp is maybe too much. The difference between the LLC and the S Corp is that it's the way it's taxed. So if you are basically by yourself in an LLC, it'll eventually be taxed as almost like a sole proprietor. I think it's still a 1099 Schedule C. Really talk to your own tax advisor on this. But the difference is when you're an S Corp, you're able to take dividends and your own salary. So you can save on some of your Social Security and Medi-Cal benefits. So what does that mean is if you are making a certain amount and like at the start, it's probably not worth making it into an S Corp. But when you get around that $100,000 mark of bringing in income to your LLC, you might want to switch over to an S Corp. And that's not a big deal because you can just elect to have your LLC taxed as an S Corp. These are things that I learned in a few different videos. I'll link a few in this video so you could check those out if you want to learn more about the details. But the bottom line is I picked an LLC because I felt like it was the most simplest and it protected my assets. And then the LLC versus the S Corp, you will have a savings of roughly 15.3% on your taxes on the part that is a distribution versus your salary. And that's a lot of money if you're bringing in X amount of dollars. You'll have to make that decision for yourself. You'll also have to pay payroll taxes and set up payroll. So you could use like ADP or Paychex or any of the different payroll things. There's definitely startups that have less upfront costs if you want to set up your S Corp payroll with them. Basically, if the tax that you're saving on your S Corp is more than the cost it is to do the payroll, you're probably in a good spot. So once you've decided on an LLC, what is the process to get started? Well, how did I know? I talked to my financial advisor. I totally think it's worth having a financial advisor and a CPA look at all of your expenses. I mean, this is something I've had for many years. And they basically also agreed that the LLC is the way to go, especially if I want to ever sell some stuff online. I'd be able to get a seller's permit and a business license so I can buy things wholesale. I can collect sales tax, all of the things that you need so the IRS will get off of your back. Then my next step was either going with a professional or asking ChatGPT, what is the process to set up an LLC? And it spit out a bunch of things to do, including getting the seller's permit and business license in the area. This video is very much centered around the United States, also in California, and also like San Mateo County. It gave me a list of things to do and places to go, but really it's super easy to do the first step, which is, what do you want to call it? I tried a bunch of things. Here's the website to go to see what LLCs are in California. So you can get a name that is not close to other people's names in your industry. I went through this whole process of wanting to have something that made sense for what I wanted to do, which is explore creativity and figure out different iterations of that creativity in order to become financially free, to not have to rely on other sources of income. And so I wanted to have something that was like cultivated over time and perfected over a period into something beautiful. And I originally went with the name bonsai, which is like the little trees that you saw in Karate Kid. My brother was a huge bonsai enthusiast growing up, so I saw how much work that was to to make those little trees just spectacular and like little tiny forests. So I tried to find something that also ended with AI. So bonsai made a really a lot of sense to me, because it's like this creative process that you like pick the little leaves off and you're making and grooming this tree into something spectacular. And that's kind of the idea I wanted with Cocoy. And so I thought that would be great. Turns out it's already a tech company. A lot of words have already been taken. I did a huge process of like looking through the LLCs that are out there, and also doing a URL search on the same thing, because I really want the URL to match with the LLC. It's not really that important. Your LLC name is really just a known as or operating as that business name. They don't have to match. I just would like it to match. So I got the URL cocoy.ai. What does Cocoy mean? So this is something I haven't discussed on the channel, right? How did I get Cocoy? It's a mixture between my two kids' middle names. It means a funny and serious person at the same time. And I think that's something that I resonated with, because I don't really take myself seriously. I take my work extremely seriously, and I will keep going until I succeed. But I am not a serious person by nature. In fact, my number one value is fun and joy. And if I'm not having fun, then I'm probably not producing my best work. So I think having that fun infused into my life is something that is incredibly important. But as anyone that's worked with me before knows, is if I disagree with something, I will speak up and give you my mind. I will tell you exactly how I feel it should be, and I will try and convince you to come my way or see it within my vision. So Cocoy, a funny but also serious person, seemed to fit. The URL was available, as was the LLC. So that's how I got to Cocoy. And I still haven't really quite put a website up yet. I guess that's what I'll do right after I film this. So after you come up with a name, you register it with the same site that you looked it up on, and then that process is pretty easy. You just follow the things. Every time I got stuck, I would go to ChatGPT, ask what that was, like what kind of business is it? And it's a really long list of things that have numbers, and you kind of have to put that in. And then the same thing happens when you're trying to get the seller's permit and business license. I asked ChatGPT every time I got stuck, and it had a really clear answer. I think things like business license and seller's permits that really don't change a lot over time. ChatGPT gives fairly decent responses, and will tell you whether or not it's an accurate thing. So that was pretty cool and made the process go really fast. I think I got to the LLC name, the business license, the seller's permit, the EIN number. You want to get an EIN number for your LLC so that you can operate in that business and you can start building business credit. And I still need to set this up. You need to get a bank account that's tied to your LLC, and then you will start developing credit for your business, and you can have a business credit card and write things off that you're paying for your company. There's some kind of like $5,000 limit to starting up a business that you can write off the first year, and then after that you can write a lot of things off, including like a car, the space in your office. Some of these things are things I knew from having the sole proprietorship, but I think I should mention it here in case people haven't done consulting before. What else can I tell you about these different business entities? I hope that you're able to start an LLC. It's really not that hard. Ask ChatGPT, it'll give you all the answers. Ask Google, and just try it. It's not that expensive. An LLC costs like $75 a year. The seller's permits, I don't even think there were very many other fees. It was very low cost to start this business right. And then you'll be protected, and your family will be protected from whoever is out to get you. I do hope that you'll get expert advice. I don't want this to be like, yeah, just start an LLC and go use ChatGPT to give you all the answers. But I do think that it's worth trying to do it yourself. It's not that hard of a process. You can follow the steps to your own company. There's other ways to do it. Like if you want to sell stuff online, you can go with things like Printify or Etsy, and I think they start their own. They'll help you with all of the tax implications and things, so that you only are worried about your profit, and it'll probably end up being on a 1099. But that's like the sole proprietor route. There's lots of videos on how to be a great sole proprietor. I did not think it was right for this particular company. I thought I'd just share some of the tips and some of the things that I went through in order to get this company up and running. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you again.